Over the years, I've slowly been transitioning towards a simpler, calmer, and happier life, and I've noticed on this journey that I've been on for more than 10 years now that there are always new things that I'm learning to let go of. I've noticed that simple living isn't just about choosing some things that you want to focus on more, but also on choosing some things that you don't want to focus on anymore, choosing to not care about certain things that aren't really that important, or learning to see those things that we spend time and energy worrying about that actually aren't going to matter to us in 10 years' time. Whether that is actual stuff that I don't want or need anymore, or more so kind of like mental and emotional stuff that I've been holding on to and I realized is not really serving me anymore. In fact, it's quietly making things more difficult when they really don't have to be. So today I'm sharing 5 things I recently quit caring about, and some of these I've made really good progress with, others are more so still a work in progress for me. But looking at this list yesterday, I noticed that they have a common thread, which is learning to recognize and let go of these internalized pressures and expectations that I've placed on myself throughout my life so far. The need to be good enough, the need to be acceptable, and all the things that I feel like I should do or be. In this phase of my life, I'm trying to loosen my grip on things a little bit, letting myself be human, choosing joy over perfection, and allowing myself to not have to try so hard all the time. So I'm excited to share this one today with you. This video is also sponsored by Skillshare, and I'll tell you more about them later. For now, you know what I'm gonna say. Grab yourself something nice to drink and join me if you want, and let's talk about it. All right, the first thing that I want to talk about today is competition. I've never really been like a super competitive person with others, but competition can be about more than just like trying to outperform others when you're playing a game. I think there's also a quieter, more subconscious way to be competitive. For example, being competitive with your previous self, feeling like there always needs to be progression and growth, or you know how they say like being fitter in your 30s than you were in your 20s, or like being further along in life than before, and especially comparison with other people and feeling either like less than or trying your best to be as good as. I've really been thinking about this a lot over the last year, I would say, just trying to recognize first when I was comparing myself with others, and also when I felt the need to kind of like compete with my past self. And then as I recognized it, asking myself whether or not that way of thinking was adding anything to my life or not. Because when I'm honest, if I find myself comparing myself to other people, it mostly leads to feelings of stress, nervousness, and just feeling less than, feeling insecure. And it's even made me feel like I shouldn't even try at times in my life, because I felt like I could never catch up to this other person that's already so much further along than I will ever be. So it's not exactly pushing me to be the best version of myself that I can be, it's rather keeping me back and holding me down. So being aware of this and trying to let go of this competitive mindset is already helping me feel so much calmer, less insecure, and just more confident in my own thing. There are so many ways that we can compare ourselves with others. It can be about money or success or status. It can be about fitness, bodies, looks. It can be about possessions. It can be about, you know, our homes and our homemaking skills and our cooking and our eating habits and so many things. For example, for me, I've been on YouTube for over 8 years now, and most of all, it's been a wonderful experience, but it has also been a challenging one when it comes to comparison, because all the information is right there for me to see. I can see how many views other creators are getting, how many subscribers. I can see it when they have a viral video that I kind of wish I thought of first, or I can see it, you know, the brands that they're working with, or just their talent as a creator. I think most of the time I am quite good at just kind of ignoring all of that and just focusing on my own thing, my own channel, my own videos, and my own journey as a creator. But you know, it is hard not to compare yourself sometimes, and over the years that has been a little bit challenging for me at times, especially when you see other creators do so well and have so much impact with their videos. So for me, there have been 2 very helpful ways of looking at this comparison and competition in our own life. And the first is the idea that competition doesn't have to exist. There don't have to be winners and losers. We're not placed on this like vertical line where it's like I'm somewhere here and I'm better at something than the person here, but there's also someone there who's better at it than me. Like this competition and this ranking scale doesn't have to exist. This way of thinking creates the illusion that we are better than others and others are better than us, and it leads to this feeling of like anxiety and insecurity where, you know, people don't want to end up on the bottom. We don't want to be like the loser on the bottom. So if that is the feeling that drives you forward and pushes you to try and grow and be the best version of yourself, then it doesn't come from a very positive place. So instead of feeling like I need to keep up with everyone else, I've learned to just focus on myself more, my own journey, and just see what I can do and see it more as though we're all on this horizontal line. We're all like doing our own thing. We're all doing our best. We're all out there. Everyone has their own journey, their own growth, their own things that they're learning, the things that they're good at, the things that they're not so good at. And that way of thinking just relieves so much of that pressure. And the second thing that's been very helpful for me is noticing that competition is often rooted in insecurity and a scarcity mindset, because we feel like, you know, in order for someone to win, someone else has to lose, and we don't want to be the one who gets left behind. So we feel that if someone else is more successful or doing better at us than whatever we're comparing ourselves to, then we feel like that takes away from our opportunity or our success. But really, there's not like a limited amount to go around. It's not like when you have a cake and someone takes like a large piece of cake, then there's less cake left for the rest of us. It's more so that everyone is on their own journey, as I said before. And when we can let go of that competition, I've also found it's so nice that I can now be genuinely happy for others and root for them to have success as well, because I know it doesn't take anything away from me. So for me, I find that letting go of this comparison and competition feeling is really helping me to feel less scared and insecure, and more free to just enjoy the experience and to value the process over the outcome and prioritize peace and simplicity. Also, before I move on to the second thing on this list, I just want to quickly show you something. This has nothing to do with the video, but I got my new necklace on today, and this was a present from my boyfriend. He surprised me with it because we went to see a concert a few months ago from Lorde, Lorde. And it was such an amazing experience. We've been a fan of hers for a very long time, ever since her first album came out, which is like 10 years ago or more even. And she performed in Amsterdam and we went to see her, and it was such an amazing experience. It was a very small venue, so we were very lucky that we got tickets also. And we went there with such a cool experience. And my boyfriend bought me this necklace as a memento, that he surprised me with it. It said, I saw Lorde's Ultrasound 2025, which is what her tour was called, the Ultrasound tour. Yeah, I really like it. Sometimes it's the small things, but I love this surprise that he got for me. I'm very happy with it. All right, the second thing that I want to talk about is that I'm learning to let go of this idea that every hobby or interest or skill needs to have an end goal. This idea that there always needs to be progression in my hobbies and skills, and that it always needs to go somewhere. And also that if I start something new, that I should keep it up and keep practicing with it until I'm actually really good at it. I'm someone who loves learning stuff. I have so many different interests and I genuinely enjoy exploring new things. But somewhere along the way, I picked up this belief, and I think this is quite common, that if I pick up something new, I need to then also kind of commit to it long term and get good at it and use it in my life in some way, or have it make sense in some way. I love learning languages. I've always loved learning music and singing and playing the guitar and the piano. I learned to knit at one point. I've loved learning to do yoga and tennis, and I love drawing and making art and making digital art on my iPad. And I'm recently learning that this is okay. It's okay to be someone who just loves learning new things and has many different interests. And it's okay to learn something and forget about it later. And not everything needs to make sense or have an end goal or have progression or, you know, make sense in the whole. For example, with language learning, this is something that I really enjoy, and it's also good for your brain and, you know, your cognitive development. And I found myself frequently thinking like, you know, I would love to learn a few basic like words and sentences in this language. That would be really fun. But then I think, you know, I'm already learning Spanish and Japanese, so it would make more sense to invest my time into learning those languages better, to become better at those things, than start a third or fourth language, at which point I will probably also forget something else. And now I'm thinking, you know what, why does that matter so much? You know, if I'm reading a really cool book and it takes place in Iceland, what's the harm in me just learning a few basic Icelandic words and phrases and having fun with that? And what if I forget those words and phrases in 2 years or so? Like, is that really such a bad thing? Of course, it's great if you can learn something and actually also become really good at it and then also use it in real life. For example, I loved having the skill of, you know, having conversational Japanese when I'm in Japan. When I can just talk with people there in Japanese, it makes everything much more enjoyable. So there is value in that, of course. But I think there's also nice in just allowing yourself to learn when something fascinates you, to accept, you know, that beginner mindset and just have fun in the process of things. I think hobbies don't have to be treated as investments. Like, they don't always have to give a return, either in terms of like money or skill or progression or identity. So I've been learning recently to just let myself explore, follow my curiosity, and if I find myself saying, you know, I'd like to learn more about this, just doing it without first it needing to have some kind of like end goal or make sense in some way. And actually that ties in very well with the sponsor of today's video, which is Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning platform where you can explore and learn basically whatever you are interested in. And what I love about it, especially in this phase of my life, is how it makes learning feel so accessible, low pressure, and enjoyable. I've been taking classes on Skillshare for years now, and some of them have helped me on a professional level with my work here, with videography, photography, but I've also taken many of their classes just for my own hobbies and interests, things like playing the guitar, plant care, art journaling, classes about mindfulness and creativity and self-care. When I wanted to learn how to make digital art on my iPad, I turned straight to Skillshare and I took so many of their classes, going from absolute beginner classes to more advanced classes. Maybe you'd like to learn how to sew or knit, learn about woodworking or creative writing or cooking or playing piano, launching your own business, learning how to code, whatever you want to learn. And what I appreciate most is that I'm learning from real people who are industry professionals teaching me real skills. Like, where can you learn from someone who does the thing that you want to learn professionally and can help you out? Like, that is so valuable to me, especially in the age of AI. Just that real human experience. Recently, I took Nea Modi's class called Daily Meditative Art Practice, and I had so much fun. All I needed was a pen and a piece of paper, and I just followed her instructions. It was a really relaxing and fun experience to make these little art pieces. And now I have my eye on my next class, which is a Zen Doodle and Zen Tangle class by Riddhi Rajpal, just drawing repeat patterns with pen and paper. It seems so relaxing and mindful. And then seeing it come together in the end looks like so much fun. If you've been wanting to try something new, I highly recommend checking out Skillshare, and you can do that for free because the first 500 people to click my link in the description box or scan this QR code right here can get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. So you can try it out, see what interests you, and if it's not for you, then you can cancel within your trial period and you won't be charged. But I'm pretty sure that you will love it as much as I do. Alright, the third thing that I'm learning to mindfully quit caring about so much is always needing to choose the hard option. And by that I mean like the right option, the road that has some resistance but will lead to the best outcome in the end. Basically, I'm learning how to be a little bit more self-accommodating and to stop feeling like I always have to be able to handle everything. This can be about productivity, feeling like I need to do everything that I have on my to-do list for today, or if I had planned to do a longer workout, then doing a shorter workout would feel like, the easy way out. Like I have to do the longer thing because that's what I had planned. Or even when I'm out running errands and I just notice halfway through that my battery is just completely drained because it's crowded and it's loud and I'm tired, I would still kind of feel like I have to complete all my errands and I can't just go home. So I've been experimenting with just choosing the easier option sometimes, and in that case, going home when I feel like that. Postponing a task or replying to comments and emails in bed and getting like a little bit more comfy. Sometimes it is important to do the hard thing, and in those cases I feel like we kind of know it because it will lead to the best outcome, or it will lead to personal growth. For example, if we need to have a difficult conversation with someone or set boundaries with someone, like for most people that is not something that we look forward to doing, but we do know that it is the right thing to do because, you know, we can't just choose the easy way out because that doesn't solve anything. But other times I'm learning that it's also okay to choose the easier option when I just kind of feel incapable of doing the difficult thing right now, or, you know, when we just feel a little bit beat down by life. You know, we all feel like that sometimes. And I think this one can also be connected to the comparison one, because we see others going about life and maybe we feel like they're, you know, so good at juggling all these things and they can handle everything and they always do the right thing, and we feel like we should be able to do that as well, which is an unrealistic comparison, because you never know what's going on in someone else's life, what's going on in their head. Maybe they are really tired and could use a break. So that comparison is, I think in this case, unrealistic and often unhelpful. But even more, I'm starting to feel like maybe the goal for me isn't to kind of prove to myself that I can do whatever anyone else can do or can handle what other people can handle all the time. Maybe the goal for me is to create a life that is sustainable for me, and I've learned that being a little bit more self-accommodating is necessary for me. It's a way to accept who I am, sensitivities and all, and show myself respect and care. So I'm learning when to choose the easier thing, and this is not about avoiding personal growth, but rather about not trying to like squeeze every ounce of output out of myself. Number 4 is optimizing my life and work schedules. I kind of never was an over planner. I do most things in my life kind of willy-nilly, but recently I've just been accepting that this is how my brain works and that I don't feel that good if I have a set, rigid morning or evening routine, or if my entire life is scheduled out in a productivity app with time blocking and all these other things. I also think that this does have to do with simplifying life, because my life genuinely is quite simple now, and I usually don't have that many things going on all at the same time. So I don't need this extensive organizational system to keep track of everything. Basically, the only thing I have now is just my calendar app on my phone, which I use to schedule all my appointments, both social and professional, and like healthcare stuff. It all goes in my calendar, and that's it. And I used to do bullet journaling, and the thing is that I loved setting up my bullet journal and I did use it most weeks because, yeah, I put so much effort into setting it up, so I also did use it. But looking back on it, it was mostly just kind of for fun with the setting up the journal, and not that it actually made my life easier or more organized. And as a content creator, I've had so many people recommend to me apps like Notion or Trello or other kinds of organizational productivity apps, and I always felt like I was missing something. Like I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do as a creator, like scheduling all my videos and having all the scripts uploaded into this software. My workflow too is incredibly simple. I just write out my video script in a Word doc, I email it to myself so I have it on my phone when I'm filming. Afterwards, I delete the email, and yeah, that's kind of it. But lately, when I see other people use those kinds of apps and organizational systems, instead of feeling like, hey, I'm missing something, I should be doing more, I'm more so accepting, okay, that might work for them, but I don't feel like I need it, and I don't feel like it would make my life actually easier or more organized or more productive. And I'm sure they can be incredibly helpful if you're someone who has a lot more going on in your life, or maybe if you want to share your calendar with the people that you work with, or maybe the people in your family, and you have that system and it's working out great for you. In that case, definitely keep doing it. And for me, I've kind of just accepted that I don't have to optimize anything. A simple works best for me. And number 5 of the things that I'm learning to quit caring about recently is judging my body on how it looks. I've already made good progress with this over the last couple of years, but recently I feel like I'm kind of ready for the next step in this journey, and it feels very freeing. So here I want to give a little bit of a trigger warning where I'm going to talk about body image, weight gain, weight loss. If that is not your thing, then feel free to use the chapters. I put this one at the end of the video on purpose, but you can skip it to see the video outro if you want. If this is not your jam, Otherwise, definitely keep watching. Growing up, I never had a particularly bad relationship with food or exercising or my body or my looks or anything. But I think we can all relate to that constant messaging that we receive on a daily basis about how we need to look a certain way in order to be acceptable. This kind of constant messaging that however we look right now is not good enough and that we need to fix our body or fix our skin or improve our, I don't know, something else in order to fit the current beauty standards. I was always a skinny kid when I was growing up, and looking back on it, so often people would comment about how thin and skinny I was. And this was in like the 90s and early 2000s, which was definitely a time of skinny culture where, you know, there was always these magazines with these articles about how to lose weight, and if an actress had a little bit of fat or some cellulite, it would get blown up in the magazines. So I used to always see skinny as a good thing, and I just kind of assumed that this was my body type and I would always stay that way. And then as I got older and my body started to change, I would also get many comments. People would just out of the blue say something like, oh, you're getting an ass now. My grandma would like pinch my cheeks and say like, oh, you're getting nice and fat, which all of these types of comments is just so weird. And for a few years, this did affect my confidence, and I would start to feel a little bit uncomfortable if I was in a bathing suit or, you know, tuck in my stomach if someone was taking a picture. I would sometimes find myself comparing my body to that of complete strangers passing me on the street, thinking like, yeah, I'm skinnier than she is. Oh, I'm bigger than she is. I would kind of feel uncomfortable going shopping for clothing, and if I had to try on something that was like 1 or 2 sizes up, I'd feel like a failure somehow. And many of these thought processes kind of go by unnoticed, but when you really pay attention to them, they are quite frequent and they are quite loud and intrusive. And then there were the constant remarks that I would get as a kid and as an adult that I'm too pale, I need to get a tan, I look like a ghost. So I would try to get a tan in a tanning salon, which is still one of the biggest regrets of my life. Or I would wear pantyhose to kind of try and hide how pale my legs were in the summer. It can be so difficult to stay standing and stay grounded in a world that is so focused on people's appearance and people's bodies and on judging how others look if they have a flaw or an imperfection. And I started feeling so tired of that, which is when I started my journey towards self-love and acceptance that I've been on for a while now. And now that I'm getting older and my body is slowly changing a little bit again, now that I'm approaching 40, this is what I'm working on as well. And I feel like I'm slowly entering this new chapter of my life, which is called I don't really give a crap. And it's very freeing. It's still important to me to treat my body well, to eat healthy things most of the time, to move my body frequently and to feel good. But I think it's also okay to focus on, you know, wanting to look good. But in this case, it comes from a place of self-love and acceptance and friendship with yourself, rather than from a place of needing to change things or improve things in order to be good enough. I actually really like my body again. I feel feminine, I feel sexy, and I just like, you know, the shapes and everything about it. But I also know that that is not the most important thing. For me, the real emotional and mental transformation came from gratitude for my body and everything that it does for me and the fact that I have a healthy body, rather than on how it looks. As I'm getting a little bit older, I'm sometimes starting to see people my age or even younger get really sick or pass away, and that is just incredibly sad. And it truly made me see how important it is to be grateful for the fact that I have a healthy body. That is by far the most important thing. And funnily enough, being on YouTube for me has been both a good thing in this process and also a challenging thing, because being on YouTube has made me focus a lot more on how I look. And that is just because I'm always filming myself. I'm editing my own videos, which is a very time-consuming process. I'm editing my videos several days a week. I just stare at my own face all that time. I listen to my own voice. I see my own expressions and mannerisms, and it is difficult to not focus on that so much when you're being confronted with that so much of the time. Maybe I'm doing yoga and I'm filming myself to use that as B-roll in a video sometimes, and then I look at the footage, and sometimes it is difficult when you see it like that not to compare your body to that of another creator or a fitness influencer, but also because I'm coming into contact with my own looks so much, it's also been good practice. And I feel like it is helping me to let go of these insecurities. And I also love that I am learning to enjoy food even more now. And don't get me wrong, I have always loved food. Like, I've never been the person who would skip a meal or anything like that. Frankly, I'm not even skipping one snack. But eating healthy is important to me. I also studied to be a dietitian, so I kind of know a little bit about nutrition, and I do eat healthy things most of the time, but there used to be this like awareness if I ate something that had a lot of sugar or a lot of calories, and I would eat it and I would enjoy it, but not 100%. Like, there would always be a little bit of a voice in the back of my head saying like, this is not healthy or something like that. And recently I've just been letting go of that as well. I know that my lifestyle is healthy for the most part, but I also love just enjoying any kind of treat or food, or the occasional junk food. It's been a really nice experience just letting myself fully enjoy food, and I want to keep doing my best to take care of myself physically, mentally, emotionally, but from a place of self-love and kindness and a friendship with myself. Let me know if any of these 5 things resonated with you. This is a little bit of a different kind of video than I usually make. It's a little bit more personal, it's a little bit more chatty, but I hope you enjoyed it. I want to thank you for sticking around until the end of the video. I really appreciate that, and it always helps the channel when people watch my videos all the way through, so I really appreciate it. And also a special thank you to my channel supporters who are helping me to keep the channel going. If you enjoy my videos and you are able to and you want to support my work as well, then you can always join. You can choose whether you want to join on Patreon or on YouTube memberships. They are the same extra content, the same extra videos. So it's just a matter of which platform you would prefer. I post 2 extra videos every month for channel supporters, and the income that I make from that helps me to keep doing this as my job. So it's a win-win. So a really big thank you to everyone who signed up already. And also don't forget to check out Skillshare and get your 1-month free trial. Link in the description box and QR code right there. I would love to know your thoughts in the comments, so please share down below. And as always, questions, comments, conversations down below. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I will see you all again really soon. Bye-bye. So yesterday we went out to dinner to celebrate our anniversary, and this restaurant had this incredible homemade bread that you could dip in this oil, but the oil was like onion oil. And I know that sounds kind of gross, but it was so good. And today I just cannot stop thinking about the bread with the onion oil.